So the final verse of chapter 2 reads, "These things speak and exhort and reprove with all authority. Let no one disregard you." Now, this is a pretty interesting verse, as Paul asserts himself pretty forcefully here. We've already said that Paul isn't interested in giving life advice to the Christians on Crete. He's doing something much more pronounced and, frankly, much more important than that. He's not spilling all of this ink for fun. He's writing with serious intent here, and this verse really shows us that. Not only does he tell Titus to speak these things, he tells him to exhort them or to call for them or expect them from the people. And then, of course, he says to reprove with all authority. Remember, the central problem on the island are these teachers who speak against the apostolic doctrine that Paul preaches. And here we have Paul telling Titus that Titus has the authority to teach against those teachers. And he has this because Titus subscribes to the apostolic teachings of men like Paul. And finally, he tells Titus to let no one disregard him. In other words, don't let anybody blow you off or ignore you when you speak about these things, because you have the authority to speak about them. I would imagine this would be a very encouraging thing for Titus to hear if we're thinking about the historical context for just a second. Well, remember that Paul had to leave Crete before the churches could be established, and Titus stuck around to finish the job. So Titus is on Crete up against all this opposition, and now Paul has written him this letter to encourage him, to remind him that he hasn't been forgotten, and to remind him that the work he's doing is very important. In light of all of that, verse 15 is actually a pretty powerful reaffirmation of the importance of the work Titus is doing on Crete. He's there as Paul's guy, the apostolic representative on the island, up against this fierce opposition. And here Paul is telling him not to back down on these matters of faith. So that's it for chapter 2. We'll move into the third and final chapter next, and then we'll be done with our study of Titus.